Hey guys, welcome back to this channel. My name's Amanda. We make book content on this channel and I hope that you guys would stay along for the journey. And in today's video, we're going to be doing my March TBR list. And let's just say this list is a long one, which might be a little bit crazy. Why, you may ask? Because I did not finish a single book on my February TBR list. I have, though, a reason being why this list is longer, and that is because for my spring break, I am going to be going and visiting one of my really good friends, and we're going to be doing the 24-hour read challenge, which will be posted on this channel for you guys to enjoy. But in order to get through the 24-hour read challenge, I obviously needed books to be reading. So I just decided to finally take basically all the books on my bookshelf that have been sitting there for probably upwards to 2 years now, and I have decided that it's finally time to read those books. And so this is where I bring you to now, where I will be telling you all the books that I am hopeful to read in the month of March. Outside of this 24-hour read challenge, I am also very hopeful to be finally finishing the tandem read of Throne of Glass. I actually have made good headway in both of the books. I read like close to 200 pages in this last night, and I want to say it's getting to the good parts because now they're both at part 2. If you've read Sarah J. Maas, you know that when you get to part 2 of most of her books, like that's when they start to get juicy. And I just love it because like now the romance is like starting for like all the characters. Like there has been so much world building, and like I hate to say it, but I'm romance girly at heart, and so sometimes when there's like not enough romance, I'm like not as invested. And so needless to say, Throne of Glass has been a little bit hard for me to get into because of that, but I have actually very much enjoyed the whole story anyways, aside from the romance. I'm just saying that the romance is now a plus, and I love it. I love it so much. So outside of my 24-hour read challenge, I am hopeful to finish both of these, which I'm pretty sure that I will because I've got 31 days now, not 28. So we can only hope for the best, right? But outside of finishing these in the 24-hour read challenge, I am also hopeful to finish Kingdom of Ash. And like I said, it's called hopeful for a reason because let's be honest, she a big girl, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get through it, but we can still put on the list and be hopeful. So this is going to be the last book in my, like outside of my 24-hour read challenge that I'm hoping to finish. But now jumping into the books that I am hopeful to finish in this 24-hour read challenge is going to be a list of 6 books. We love that. And to be honest, I've never in my life even done a 24-hour read challenge, so I actually have no idea how many books like I'm capable of reading just like one after another, because I've never actually done that. Like, yes, I have finished books in one sitting, and so I don't know. I think I'm just kind of hopeful that I can finally get the ones off my physical TBR list so I can go buy more books, because let's be honest, ladies, we love to buy the books probably more than we like to read them. At least that's for me. So to jump into the very first book that I am hopeful to finish in this 24-hour read challenge is going to be this book called The Blood Kingdom by Kate Cunningham. This is actually her debut novel, and it's basically like mortal meets vampire meets magic, and they fall in love, and fantasy is great. But the coolest part about this book is that I actually didn't buy this off of like reading the back and being like, oh, that would be really interesting to read. I got this from a blind date with a book that I bought at a little market here in Arizona, and I was so obsessed with just like the little blurb they had of it that I was like, I think that this is the one that I need to get. And I had been meaning to buy a blind date with a book for a while anyway. I'm honestly pretty glad that this is the book that decided to fall into my lap. So this is the very first book that I am hoping to finish in the 24-hour read challenge. As for the second book that I am very hopeful to be finishing in this 24-hour read challenge is going to be none other than The Housemaid. Now this is a very anticipated book. I know a lot of you guys have read this. I have not. I've just been behind on the bandwagon, let's be honest. I'm very excited to read this because I have I've read comments and I've heard things from multiple people that this is a book that keeps you on your toes. I am grateful that I will not have anything like interrupting me while I'm reading it. Like I can just read it all the way through and like really soak it up. But I might be at fault there because I don't have the second one. So I might be searching for the second one after the 24-hour read challenge to be my next book to read, to know what happens in the series. Also, they're coming out with a book adaptation, and I'm obsessed. The cast, obsessed. Are you kidding me? I'm down. Like, I don't even know what happens in here, but the cast already, like, I'm down for it. As you can tell, I'm really excited to be reading this book and to just finally have read the book, because I think aside from like a lot of the books that I read, like this is one that I get asked about often. So this is the second book that I'm very hopeful to read in my 24-hour read challenge. And as for these next two books that I'm hoping to read in the 24-hour read challenge, it is going to be a continuation of the fine print series. We've got number 2 called Terms and Conditions, and we've got number 3 called Final Offer. I read the first one in between like a fantasy series I think I was reading, just because like, oh, that's what it was. I read it like, I think after I had read like the first 2 books of Throne of Glass, because I was missing my little romance, if you get what I'm saying. And I've heard a lot of good things about this author, Lauren Asher. So I was like, you know what? I think I need to have a little bit of romance in me that I can get back to the fantasy world. So that's what I did. But aside from just reading the first one, I'm actually super excited to be getting into the second and third book and concluding this also, because honestly, I've had these on my list for probably upwards to 2 years now, and I think it's just finally time that I read both of them. And not that I get them done and over with, but that I get them done and over with, you know what I mean? I'm excited to be getting into these, that's for sure. So these are the next 2 books that I'm hopeful to be finishing in my 24-hour read challenge. And then the next 2 books that I am hopeful to be finishing in my 24-hour challenge is going to be a continuation of the books that I was talking about in my last TBR list, which one of them, yeah, might be looking familiar. Yeah, because again, did not finish my February ones. No, I did not. But that's why we just got months after months and time to keep reading. So we love it anyways. These are the continuation of the King of Sin series. And we've got the third one, which is King of Greed. And we got the fourth one, which is King of Sloth. And I've heard good things about 3 and 4. So I am very excited to be getting into both of them. And I'm honestly so excited because I love Anna Hong and I love her as a writer, and I think she does so great in her writing that I'm just obsessed. Like I've talked about it a little bit in my previous videos about just like her writing style and how characters are interconnected, and I love it so much. So I'm always excited to drop back into her universe because I miss it when I'm gone, let's be honest. So these are the next 2 books that I am hopeful to be finishing in the 24-hour read challenge. And if those were not enough books to read in this 24-hour read challenge, I do have one more. It is called The Selection. I was gifted this book by one of my friends who suggested that I read it. So if I have time to get to it, this will be on the list. But if not, that's okay too, because like I said, we've got more time and more places to be reading books. So that pretty much wraps up my March TBR list, aside from outside of the 24-hour read challenge and also inside of the 24-hour read challenge. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up. Comment down below your guys' March TBR list, and even if we had some similar, that would be so fun, like reading it together. Love that. But until then, I do hope that you guys get lost in the books, because that is literally the best part about reading books. And until then, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.